Today we will learn the story of a man, the son of a powerful king and a woman who had been the subject of a scandal in Israel. His name was Solomon, the third king of Israel, son of David and Bathsheba. From the beginning, his story was a testimony of God's grace. He was not the firstborn, nor the one seemingly destined for the throne. Yet, in his sovereignty, God chose him. After the death of David, his father, Solomon ascended to the throne. Young and inexperienced, he faced a prosperous nation full of challenges. One night, God appeared to Solomon in a dream and asked a question that echoes through the ages. "Ask what I shall give you." Solomon could have asked for wealth, power, or the death of his enemies. But humbly, he replied, "Give your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and evil." This response pleased the Lord so much that he not only granted Solomon unparalleled wisdom, but also riches, glory, and enduring peace for the kingdom of Israel. Solomon was a king surrounded by glory and mystery, and his life is filled with fascinating stories that showcase his wisdom and the complexity of his reign. One of the most well-known stories of Solomon occurred when two women disputed the motherhood of a baby. Both claimed to be the true mother, and there were no witnesses. Faced with a dilemma, Solomon ordered something shocking. "Bring me a sword. Divide the living child in two, and give half to one and half to the other." The throne room fell silent, but the true mother, overcome with pain, cried out, "No, my lord, give the living child to her, and by no means kill him." Meanwhile, the other woman agreed to the division. Solomon then declared, "Give the child to the first woman, for she is the true mother." This decision showed the people of Israel that Solomon possessed wisdom that came from God. The fame of Solomon. Solomon's fame spread throughout the ancient world and reached the ears of the Queen of Sheba, a powerful and curious monarch who ruled a distant land, possibly in Arabia or East Africa. She had heard of the king's wisdom and wealth and decided to test him with riddles and difficult questions. The queen arrived in Jerusalem with a caravan of riches, spices, gold, and precious stones. When she met Solomon, she presented her challenges, expecting to embarrass him. One riddle might have been, what is the strongest and weakest thing in the world at the same time? Solomon, with his wisdom, replied, "The human heart, which can endure pain, yet is easily broken by gentle words." With each question, Solomon gave answers that left her astonished. At the end of her visit, the Queen of Sheba declared, "The half was not told me. Your wisdom and prosperity exceed all that I heard." She returned to her kingdom impressed, carrying lessons from the king and a new understanding of the God of Israel. Solomon was more than a wise king. He was also an inspired author. He wrote much of Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and the poetic Song of Songs. Proverbs are practical lessons for life, covering work, family, honesty, and reverence for God. Ecclesiastes are reflections on the vanity of life and the search for purpose in God. Song of Songs is a celebration of romantic love and a metaphor for divine love. These writings have shaped generations, teaching that true wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. Key teachings written by Solomon. Proverbs chapter 3 verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. This teaches us that by trusting in God, he guides us on the right path, even when life is challenging. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 1. A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. Controlling our words can defuse conflicts and transform difficult situations into moments of peace. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old he will not depart from it. Spiritual and moral education from an early age is a valuable inheritance that shapes lives and generations. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 9. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. Planning is important, but trusting in God's ultimate control brings peace in any circumstance. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 2. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher, Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. This reminds us that earthly achievements are fleeting and only have meaning when connected to God. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 8. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build. Accepting the cycles of life teaches patience and trust in God's perfect timing. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 10. He who loves silver will not be satisfied with silver, nor he who loves abundance with increase. This also is vanity. The endless pursuit of material wealth does not bring fulfillment. We must learn the value of contentment. One of Solomon's greatest achievements was the construction of the temple in Jerusalem. Built with precious materials such as cedar, gold, and marble, the temple was not just a symbol of glory, but the center of worship to the God of Israel. When the temple was inaugurated, Solomon offered a prayer that moved everyone. But will God indeed dwell on the earth? Behold, heaven and the heaven of heavens cannot contain you. How much less this temple which I have built? At the end of his life, Solomon, who had started so well, turned away from God due to his insatiable pursuit of wealth and pleasures. Yet his final writings in Ecclesiastes deliver a powerful lesson. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. The story of Solomon invites us to reflect. It shows us the power of divine wisdom, but also the dangers of straying from God. His life mirrors the human condition, full of highs and lows, yet always marked by the grace of a God who is ready to guide those who seek him. In today's world, where busyness, material concerns, and internal conflicts prevail, Solomon's teachings offer a compass to navigate life with wisdom, purpose, and peace. If you enjoyed this message, subscribe to the channel and share it.